Okay, so for this next part, we have 2 cups of our oil, our herb infused oil in the saucepan. You can also do this in a double boiler if you prefer that. And we're heating it on a low heat just to warm the oil. You never want to put this over a high heat or the oil will start to like fry and it'll really hurt the compounds in the oil. So that's why a lot of people use a double boiler to keep the oil away from any high heat. Luckily, I have one burner on my stove that goes to a really low heat, so I can do it just right on the stovetop. So next we're going to use our beeswax. This is what firms up the salve. I have beeswax pastilles here. They're pre-grated for me, so I don't have to grate my beeswax for this recipe. But I also have bricks of beeswax that I get from a local apiary, and with those I either cut them with a knife, which is really hard work, or I shave them with a grater, which is a little bit easier. So for this we're going to use pre-made pastilles from Mountain Rose Herbs. The ratio I use for my salves, I like a nice firm salve, so I do 1 teaspoon of beeswax for 1 ounce of oil. Since there are 8 ounces in a cup, and I have 2 cups of oil, that's 16 ounces of oil and 16 teaspoons of beeswax. Knowing our kitchen measurements is really helpful here because there are 3 teaspoons in a tablespoon. So I know, to make my life a little bit easier, I can do 5 tablespoons and a teaspoon. Just less counting for me. So we're going to add that in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tablespoons, and 1 teaspoon to give us 16 teaspoons. So now I'm just going to let that slowly melt. It really won't take long for these little pastilles to melt. If you use larger chunks of beeswax, it can take a while. So I only made 2 cups of oil into salve, and I had some oil left over. So I'm actually going to keep that as this really beautiful body oil, which I just love and I use all the time. So now I have this beautiful Speedwell body oil. There's a practice in yoga in the Indian Ayurvedic tradition called Abhyanga, and it translates to something like loving your body with oil. So this practice of oiling the body, the skin, you can also oil inside the nose, inside the ears. It's thought to help protect us from being sick. It sort of seals in the body energy. So for those of us who are empathic, it really helps us stay in our own energy. So I just love oiling for that reason. I do sell body oils from time to time. I do not ship them because to me they're really sacred and they have to be in beautiful bottles. And these beautiful bottles do not ship well. So if you buy a body oil from me, I will either deliver it to you if you live close enough, or you can pick it up, or we can arrange something. But while the beeswax continues to melt, I have my little jars ready for pouring the beeswax and oil mixture. I've added frankincense essential oil to them, which is right here. I don't use a lot of essential oils. Frankincense is one of the most healing oils that is out there. It's really, really healing in a lot of ways. And I really love it for the skin. It's so nourishing to the skin. And I really love it for the nervous system too. When our son was born, he had some pretty serious brain damage. And we used frankincense oil on his skin a lot to help him recover from that. So I love frankincense for any kind of brain or neurological stuff that's going on. But generally I don't use a lot of essential oils because they're so plant intensive. You know, it takes so many plants to make just a little bit of essential oil. I would much rather make, you know, an infused oil like this. They're just magic to me. So we're gonna let this beeswax continue to melt, and then we'll pour our liquid salve into our jars.